Hey, Jackie.
Liz is coming along.
Good.
Yeah, because I called the school because I wasn't sure what was going to happen.
Yes, I guess network main had an issue.
Well, they said you weren't having class anymore, and I'm like, we still got like maybe 1 or 2 more weeks. I don't think so.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. Diane.
Hi.
How you doing?
Good, you?
Pretty good, thank you. We're gonna wait for Ange. Hopefully they'll get Ange connected.
We shouldn't be. We should not be responsible for that. We're not drain cleaners.
Let me see if I can reach Ange. And Liz, I'm not sure.
Not when fucking 6 toilets are backing up, 4 drains are backing up. That's out about fucking around there. I'm not going down and trying to wreck because
Diane, is that your husband?
Yeah, he doesn't realize that you guys can hear him.
Yeah, just mute it, okay?
Are you guys all set with the snow that we're having?
No.
Enough.
It's snowing over here right now in Brunswick.
Yeah. I do.
Our snowbanks here in my driveway are 7.5 feet. I don't even have any place to put any more snow. It's like, come on, seriously? I'm ready.
Hi, Ange. It's Doreen Bovin. I'm trying to reach you. We are having class. So if you're at school, please have them log on. Thank you. Hi, Liz. Are you feeling better?
Much better, thank you.
Good.
Oh, hi. Oh, yeah. We're good.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. Now, let's see if we can see who. Hello, can you hear us in Scarborough?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. Glad that you were able to join us. I just sent you a message saying, yes, we're having class. We're having class.
Yeah, yes, I'm here. I drove fast. I am sorry I'm so late.
That's okay. We weren't connecting, so.
And I had actually set up early for Angeli and called Network Maine, and he didn't have us listed, and he said it looks like there was no class, so I shut it off. But now
I know,
I know.
and that was wrong, so I apologize.
Oh, that's okay. So now we're here. You don't get a visual on us, but we can at least hear back and forth, and we can see you.
That's fine. And next week will be the last week.
Oh, I thought it's week.
Okay.
That's okay.
That's good. Okay.
Yeah, that's okay. I could. Here.
All right, so let me just. 121. 121 we had class.
Hi, thank you, Terry.
Okay. $128 we had no class. And today is 2-4. And then we have 2-11. Okay, so I have everyone's study guides bundled up and ready to mail. We are on week, depending on how you look at it, we're on week 13 or 14. Yeah, week 13. And we said tonight we were going to go over chapter 26, 27, and 28. So let's just do a little housekeeping first. And what do I mean by that? Well, everyone hear me okay? All right. So what I mean by housekeeping is, I believe I have everyone's packet ready to mail. Those of you who are online with me tonight, there's a packet ready to be mailed to you. I'll get those out this weekend. They usually get there next day or two, depending on the weather. I would like you to, over the next few weeks, finish your items on Evolve. There's still some of you who have not even gone into your sim chart at all. There's your assignments in SimChart need to be completed. I will tell you that there was an upgrade over the weekend to Evolve and caused a lot of problems. So what I would like you to do, if and when you get into Evolve and you have issues, please do not freak out. Stay calm, take a deep breath, and send me an email and tell me what you were trying to do. Because I've actually found that some students have been lost completely. So please, I hope you have written down your assignment grades. Okay? I was on chat with Evolve over an hour today, and I was able to have those students recovered that were missing. So this is why in the beginning I always can't stress enough how important it is that you write down your grade and then wait for me to get back to you with a changed one if it needs to be changed, okay? So I know that you had sent me some requests to either reset or check. And Jackie, I'm still working on your 21.
Actually, Doreen, when I actually went on to Evolve today, and it's actually asking me 10 questions. So as soon as class is done, I'm going to go back in the chapter 21 because I can actually click on it and answer the 10 questions.
Okay, very good. So just please be patient. Send me an email, tell me the issue, and let me work with Evolve to get it fixed for you, okay? What else happened? So with that, it's put me behind in responding to not just your emails, but other student emails as well. So just know that by the time you have to turn in your assignment sheets, everything should be taken care of, okay? I hope it doesn't take me that long to respond. It shouldn't, but just please bear with me, all right? What else? I think there was more, but I'll probably think of it as we get through class. All right. So let's start with chapter 26 in our textbook, page 485. And this is all about medical practice, marketing, and customer service. All right, so can everyone see me okay? Could you see me before? I have this camera with an X in it, so I don't know if you see me or not.
Yeah, we can see you now. Before we could see you, but you were frozen, but now you're moving again.
Okay, great. All right, so medical practice, marketing, and customer service. This is all around how are we going to best market our practice. So we want to develop marketing strategies. We want to try and figure out what is the best way to help promote services that are offered and encourage new business. So Jackie, would you mind reading the scenario for me, please?
Monica Ray is a medical assistant who is also pursuing a bachelor's degree in marketing. She has worked with Dr. Julie Todd and Dr. Robert Todd for 2 years. Based on her career interests, the physician had agreed to allow her to develop
Okay. Allowed her to develop some new marketing strategies for their obstetrics and gynecology office. Because medical facilities are now so competitive, Monica knows that any physician who wants growth in the practice must market his or her services to the public. Also, physicians cannot depend only on insurance reimbursements to provide them a strong income through the life of the practice. Today, physicians must market themselves and their services to the public to ensure practice growth. Monica is highly computer literate and can design web pages. She plans to incorporate several ideas she found on other physicians' websites, including a method of online scheduling. She is also aware of the importance of social networking and wants to create a brand for the clinic using resources such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. She is quite creative and is excited about the challenge of providing such a service to the patients of the clinic and about growing the patient base using social networking. Monica knows that planning is involved in any project, including creating the facility's internet presence. She plans to speak to every employee of the office to get input regarding the design and content of the site. Patients will be able to provide her with additional suggestions on features they would like to see. This new development for the office is just one way Monica helps to incorporate more formal customer service techniques. She plans to share the information she is learning in the classroom with the physicians and staff at the clinic. Monica and the physicians are fortunate that the staff is enthusiastic and eager to try new methods of customer service. Often employees are highly resistant to new techniques. The physicians will set specific goals with the help of the employees and devise a reward system for reaching them. An exciting few months are ahead for this innovative group of medical professionals. All right, turn the page. All right, Jackie.
I'm all done reading and I'm like, where'd everybody go?
I know. I finished it for you. Not a problem. All right. So turn the page to 486. Give me just one moment here. All right. Okay, so what we want to do when we're developing marketing strategies is to assess what has been done in the past. So evaluate what is being done now to increase the patient flow. And then decide what objectives are important and how meeting those objectives will be measured. So Liz, what do you think in a new practice, what do you think might be something that could be done now to maybe develop a marketing strategy to get new patients in?
They could decide on a brand. They could brand the practice if it was a new practice.
Okay. What other things?
They can know what their target market is, and plan for marketing to specific groups of people and getting the word out.
Yes. Yes. Okay. So branding, as Liz talked about, is one of the processes that would be involved in creating that unique concept or image that would help our customers think of our practice. So what would we associate with our practice? You would want to establish a significant and differentiated presence in that market that attracts and retains the loyal customers. So, 7 reasons to brand a medical practice. Ange, could you read those for me, please?
Okay. People prefer to buy brands because they reduce perceived risk. 2, people buy for status. 3, people refer more often and more passionately to a brand that they like and trust. 4, build and accelerate reputation through branding. 5, you can attract more of the cases like through branding. 6, branding will give you a competitive advantage. And 7, a branded practice will be worth more than a non-branded practice.
Okay? So then knowing the target market, we want to know what groups or groups of individuals we want to reach. So Jackie, what type of people we would want to reach if we are a chiropractic office?
Probably families. You would probably want the elderly. They have a lot of problems with their back. Individuals from like workman's comp, things like that.
Okay. And how do you think we might go about attracting work comp and PI cases?
I would say contact regular physicians, let them know that their practice is specializes in that type of, chiropractic specializing in it. I myself have found out that a lot of the regular doctors really don't think that chiropractors are a regular, an alternative. So a lot of them don't really send them to them. But
That's right.
I would call them up and say, look, if every time you refer me, maybe we can make a deal or something, or some type of like that.
Right. Okay. So ethics, marketing, and public relations. What we have to do is what used to be actually unethical to advertise a medical practice might be now imperative to help us gain and keep our patients. So critical thinking application 26-2 on page 487. What community resources could Monica seek as she is determining the target market of the practice? And what information does she need to begin her search? What do you think she needs, Diane?
She needs to know what's in the area of the practice, whether there's a lot of young parents with children or a lot of elderly development there.
Right. Okay, so what are some of the services we might decide to offer? Liz?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
What are some of the services we might consider to offer when we're trying to decide on opening our practice? On page 487, bottom right hand.
You could offer later hours for parents that are working, that have young children, or you could be open on some Saturdays, or you could offer a special price for sports physicals during the fall if you're near schools.
Yep. Okay. And developing a plan for marketing over on the next page. Ange, what are some of the things we would do to develop a plan for marketing?
There are 4 or 5 steps on that. First is assessment, research, planning, execution, evaluation.
Okay. So we would also want to tap into the free community resources. And some of those might be the civic organizations that offer events where you can promote your business. Participation in promotion or charitable activities can also generate new business. Using your advertising and public relations, so creating or changing attitudes and beliefs or perceptions by influencing people with purchased broadcast time or print space or form, written and visual media. So critical thinking on page 489, application 26-5. What community organizations might help Monica in her efforts to make the office an integral part of the community? What do you think, Liz?
She could become a member, or they could become a member of the Chamber of Commerce. or they could help out at blood drives or local like marathons or little leagues, sponsor little league teams.
Right. Okay. Communication as a marketing tool. What are some of the communication items you might use, Jackie?
Send birthday cards, the automated call distribution centers to let them know that you're out there, newspapers, telephone, TV ads, referrals from other patients.
Okay. What do you think you might find in the monthly newsletter?
That would be maybe changing hours for families, blood drives. You could put maybe $5 off for referrals. Anything that the office is going to, maybe like she said, a health fair, different things like that. Just let them know what the practice is doing itself to improve better communication.
So promoting a new practice over on page 489. And what are a few things that we might do to promote a new practice?
Example, the physician will hold an open house, something like that, and they're gonna invite some of the bankers, the attorneys, the accountants, and another physician, and that often show their support by attending the open house. By that, they will, you're gonna write a letter or something.
Yep.
About the new practice, something like that. So they could send it to the press and release it to the media. That's it.
Good. How about developing and giving presentations? What are some of the key points around preparing a presentation? Over on page 490, Diane, can you give me some tips about preparing a presentation?
Know the audience, research the audience, know their needs, what they care about and what they want to know. Know the purpose of the presentation. Rehearse the presentation repeatedly. Link all presentation information to the audience's needs.
Yep. Very good. So what are some of the key points on page 492? What are some of the key points that you should have in your designing your content, Liz?
You should use bulleted points consistently, use white space between bullets, align text systematically in one area of a slide and place graphics on the other side. Make sure visuals deal with the subject of the presentation and are necessary. Time the transition between slides. Make bulleted points appear in a systematic way so that readers see text as the speaker is talking and not before or after the points are mentioned. If a physical process is demonstrated, use visuals to enhance the demonstration. Choose the most readable font. Use hyperlinks effectively. Use mid-range colors for backgrounds. Rehearse the narration. Use titles for charts and illustrations. And organize content well.
Yes. Very good. When you're building a practice website, and tell me how you would build a practice website. What are some of the things you want to keep in mind?
Always keep in mind, like the mission of the practice, something like that.
Yep.
And also the objective, and also the rules of the facilities. And yeah, there's 4 basic steps on here. And yeah, define the objectives, design the pages, locate a web server to which the pages can be uploaded, and upload the pages to the server.
Right. And what is some of the content that you might use?
I'm sorry?
What is some of the content that you might use?
Contents like defining the objectives of the practice,
Yep.
the physician's goals, like that.
Right.
And
Very good. Okay. Excellent. When we're designing pages, Diane, what do you think is important when we're designing pages?
That is clear, easy to read, easy to navigate.
Yep. What else?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
Though it says
Maybe color choices, animation, using graphics carefully. All right. When we're locating a web server, how do we locate a web server, Liz?
You need a internet service provider or an ISP, and sometimes the one that the office uses for email and online services may offer free web space to its customers. But if not, there are companies that provide web space at no charge if you want to advertise, or you can pay a fee to have one without advertising.
Right. Okay. When we're uploading pages, we pretty much will have instructions and passwords that are going to be sent to users to them describe how to do all of that. You want to copy files from your local hard disk to your web server, and then test the web page on the web server and make sure it functions properly. With social media and networking, first let's do the critical thinking application, 26-6. Monica is considering a frequently asked questions section for the website. How might this help patients? What kind of questions might be asked in this section? Jackie, can you come up with 3?
What are the hours? What kind of services do they offer? And what would be the location? Or as far as like specific questions, what's the price? Definitely what the hours are, and probably what type of insurances are accepted.
Yes. Okay. How might the inclusion of this section benefit your employees?
It would help them because they know what types of people are going to be coming to the practice. If it's more family oriented, you're going to want to probably put the office more in a family oriented ways. If it's more in the elderly, maybe more seats, better handrails, different things like that. You have an idea of what your target area is going to be.
Okay. Social media and network marketing. This is a two-way street that actually allows communication response to regular media. There are many websites now that actually contain icons that represent Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Pinterest, and other types of social media to actually promote the interaction. You want to treat your patient as a customer, and the best way to increase the number of patients is usually by word of mouth. A helpful attitude on page 494. You want to assist the patient in whatever way possible. You want to be courteous and kind to every patient and visitor to the office. There are certain phrases that actually undermine the success of customer service. What are some of those phrases, Liz?
You never want to say, I don't know, or I don't care, or I can't be bothered, ask someone else, it's not my job, it's not my fault, I didn't do it, I know that, or I'm right and you're wrong.
And what are some of the things you think you might say instead of a few of those?
Instead of saying, I don't know, you could say, you know what, I'm not sure, but let me go find out for you, or let me find somebody who can answer that for you. And instead of ask someone else, you can say, let me go find out who handles that for you, and I can get you in touch, help you get in touch with them. Instead of saying, it's not my job, just, offer, again, just say, I'm not one of the employees who files insurance, but I will be happy to ask Amanda, our insurance supervisor, to contact you and answer your questions.
Right. Very good. So identifying with patients. What do you think would be the best way to identify with patients, Ange?
Yeah, for example, if the patient comes to the office complaining that charges were placed on his account for procedures that were not performed, the medical assistant may respond with a phrase such as, like, Mr. Roberts, I understand that you're upset with this additional charges. I know I would be upset if I was billed for something and didn't receive. Let me help you. And identify the patient shows understanding on the part of the toughness, no matter how upset and pain. Always acknowledge and appreciate the patient's concern.
Yes. So what do you think patients expect? Well, they want to be treated according to the golden rule. And their concerns, they want to have their concerns met with responsiveness. Professionals want to be knowledgeable about the field or the specialty. You want to have confidence and trust from the staff, especially regarding confidentiality. They want to see an organized office that runs on schedule, and if a staff promises to do something, it is as good as done. So you want to remember also your internal customers are your employees and your staff members of the facility. When it comes to patient education, you want to practice public relations and marketing. Staffs can work together to provide all of this information together. And a website could provide opportunities for educating those patients. Some of the legal, ethical issues, a physician should carefully review all the printed information that's used to promote the medical facility. Do not use information in brochures or on practice websites as medical advice. Make sure there's no misleading statements included, and there should be a disclaimer used. Do you ladies have any questions regarding this chapter? So Liz, if you had to brand a chiropractic office, what do you think, how do you think you might brand it?
Well, you could think about the practice itself, and it's a chiropractic office. So whatever the name of it is, you could find a way to represent that. That'll be something that patients will see and will remember. Always have it like written the same way, like in the same color. Maybe have a logo with it.
Very good. And when it came to social media, and what would you put together? What do you think you would use?
Social media. I think I'm gonna use what's the question again, Doreen? Sorry.
What would you use for social media for your practice?
I think I'm gonna make a Facebook account for the practice, like like Twitter, something like that, and I have to um follow those clinics or the same practices, and follow those people, um because that's I what I do when I do marketing in our little business.
Okay,
So keep following people. That's
very good. All right, we're going to go over answers all together at the end. Um, let's go ahead and turn to chapter 27, which is emergency preparedness. All right, if you could read the scenario for me, Liz, please.
Cheryl Shkurka, CMA, has been working with Dr. Peter Bent for approximately 6 months. During that time, a number of patient emergencies have occurred in the office, and even more potentially serious problems have been managed by the telephone screening staff. Cheryl is concerned that she is not prepared to assist with emergencies in the ambulatory care setting. She decides to ask Dr. Bent for assistance, and he suggests that she work with the experienced screening staff to learn how to manage phone calls from patients calling for assistance. Dr. Bent is participating in a community-wide preparedness effort focused on both natural and human-made disasters, and he expects his practice and employees to be ready to respond if needed. This includes both creating plans to maintain the safety of patients and employees in the facility and providing assistance as needed in a community emergency.
Okay. So your patient safety includes several factors. You need open lines of communication. We need policies and procedures to handle any injury. We need standardized procedures in our office manual for our employees to follow. And we need ongoing staff training in patient safety factors. Also, there should be teamwork to maintain safe environment for those patients. So, employee safety on page 499 on the right-hand column. Diane, what are some of the ways that they list for employee safety?
Use proper body mechanics, like bending your knees and bringing the items closer to you when you're lifting. Constantly checking the floors and halls for obstructions and possible tripping hazards. Store supplies inside cabinets rather than on top where they can fall off. Clean up spills immediately. Slippery floors are a danger to everyone. Use a step stool to reach for things, not a chair or a box that could collapse or move. Have handrails available as needed in the facility. Use them and encourage patients to use them. Do not overload electrical outlets. And perform a safety check of the facility routinely. Look for unsafe or defective equipment, torn carpeting that could catch heels. Adequate lighting both inside and outside the facility, and so on.
Okay. Environmental safety, over on the next page. What is some of the environmental safety, Diane? Jackie?
Office security, management of smoke detectors, fire extinguishers, posting the fire exit routes so people will know where the doors are, make sure the drugs are locked up in the prescription pads, and make sure that the fire extinguishers are working and that everything has been tested yearly.
Okay. Fire safety. Actually, let's look at critical thinking on page 501. Cheryl is in the middle of a busy day and patients are in all of the exam rooms and the waiting room is full. She walks past the patient bathroom and smells smoke. She opens the door and sees smoke and flames coming from the wastebasket. What should she do? Write down your response to this scenario and share it with your classmates. Ange, what would you do?
I think I'm gonna close back I have to close the door back, and then I have to call 911. And she was at the bathroom. And if there's a fire extinguisher nearby, then I'm gonna use it, or I don't know, maybe.
Okay, what would you do, Liz?
I think what I would do would depend on the size of the fire. If it was really small and contained to inside the trash can, I might grab the nearest fire extinguisher and use that. But if it was bigger and I thought that would be more dangerous or just cause a bigger problem, then I would, if there was a fire, like a fire alarm that you could pull, I would pull that, call 911, and start evacuating people.
Okay. And Jackie, what would you do?
I would do like Liz said, try to put the fire out so it wouldn't get any bigger. If something that's not in my control, shut the door. Put the fire alarm, and then call the department, and then try to let everybody know to calm down, and try to escort everybody out, making sure everybody's gone or out.
Okay. Evacuation plan. What is an evacuation plan on page 501? You should have an evacuation plan. Diane, what are some of the steps with an evacuation plan?
It should be posted everywhere where you are located in the building and what's the closest exit for you. Someone should be in charge so that when you have and you should have a meeting place to meet outside, and someone should be in charge of making sure everyone's out of the building and accounted for outside when they gather in their meeting place. It gets all the routes should be clearly marked so that it's not confusing to get out of the building for your patients who are not familiar with the building. Exit doors should be marked, clearly marked, lit. Yeah.
How about designating a meeting place?
I said that.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. With that, how would we dispose of hazardous waste on 503? Ange?
Okay. Place sign on or near the biohazard container to identify its purpose and materials that should be deposited there. All biohazardous waste containers should display a biohazard label. Make sure all biohazardous waste containers are covered and have a foot pedal for opening and closing the container. This prevents the spread of infectious material and reduces the likelihood that Non-infectious material will be tossed inside. Place a regular garbage container next to biohazard container to encourage staff to use the bags only as needed. Place only sharps in sharps containers. Bandages, gauze, and so on belong in a contaminated waste container. Uninfectious packaging material and other items belong in the regular trash.
Okay. So with emergency preparedness, over on page 504, let's look at the critical thinking application 27-2. A chemical plant is located about 3 blocks from Dr. Bent's office. The office staff is brainstorming ideas about what should be done if an accident occurs at the plant. Based on what you have learned so far about emergency preparedness, what do you think should be included in the office's emergency plan? What would be the number one most important, top of the list for you, Jackie?
For me, that would be to have the meeting place, so that way you know that all the patients are out.
Yes. What about number one for you, Liz?
For me, it would be finding out what type of chemicals are at the chemical plant and being prepared to deal with chemical burns or inhalation or problems with the chemicals. Because if they have a accident and they have patients coming to you for emergency treatment, you want to know what to do.
Right. Right. Okay. And what about number one for you, Diane?
It would be to have to be familiar with what they produce for chemicals over there, so that you're prepared to handle whatever possible problems that could occur from that.
Okay, and how about number one for you, Ange?
Evacuate the facility, and as the same with Jackie, that designate a meeting place outside the facility.
Okay. So with your emergency preparedness, your ambulatory care centers first are to respond to a community emergency. They usually implement the standard precautions in the infection outbreak. Your local emergency management authority coordinates response to community emergency and policies for on-site emergency management. When you're assisting in an emergency, what do you think would be your response or your role in an emergency, Liz?
Your role as a medical assistant would be to just help out wherever necessary and wherever you can. Don't do anything that you aren't trained to do, but if you're trained in basic first aid, just help out with those sorts of things. Just do whatever you can, get people the supplies they need.
Right. You also might provide first aid at the disaster site. You might conduct patient interviews. You might document patient information and help to educate them. You might even perform phlebotomy and lab procedures. You want to make sure that you know CPR. You perform the procedures only if you are trained. And you notify a physician or 911. What are some of the emergency supplies that you should have on hand, Jackie?
You want to make sure that you have things for PPEs in case there's blood. You also want to have some drugs, depending on what, all kinds of stuff, your drug cart, your medical drug cart with you. You want to make sure that you have a designated area, maybe a triage to decide who's more hurt more than others. You could try to just help whatever way you can. Just, if somebody's bleeding, hold them, try to wrap their arm up to stop it from bleeding.
All right. An automated external defibrillator, over on page 507. This is performed when a patient has ventricular fibrillation. You would send electrical current through the myocardium. It allows the heart to resume at normal rhythm. It has a computerized system that analyzes a cardiac rhythm and delivers a voice prompt instruction on how to operate the device. And then self-adhesive pads record and monitor the cardiac rhythm. Over on the next page, precautions for automated external defibrillator. No contact with metal during the defibrillation. Remove all clothing. Apply pads directly to skin. Prevent burns by ensuring patient is lying on a dry surface. Apply the AED pads at least 1 inch away from any pacemaker implants. And they show you a picture in your book on page 508. General rules for emergencies. What are some of the general rules for emergencies, Liz?
It is most important to stay calm, reassure the patient, and make him or her as comfortable as possible. Assess the situation and determine the nature of the emergency. Decide whether the need is immediate. This decision requires calm judgment and medical knowledge. Obtain as much information as possible to determine the appropriate action, and immediately refer any concerns to the office supervisor or physician.
Yes. And what would be the telephone screening that you would do, Jackie?
To make sure that this call really is a life or death situation. If it isn't, then maybe you can have them call them back or hold on for the appropriate person. If it is life-threatening, stay on the line. Find out if it's really bad, maybe call 911 or EMSs so they can be going there while you're talking to the patient, and just get some information so they can tell the EMS what's happening with the patient.
Okay. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. All right. Some of the life-threatening emergencies for an unresponsive patient. What would you do in that instance, Diane? Over on page 511.
I would immediately call for the ambulance to go there. Or am I actually looking at the patient?
Okay.
So you have a little bit of
If
You also might want. Go ahead.
Good. Well, if the patient's in front of me, I want to gently shake them, ask them if they're okay, check and see if they're breathing, check and see if they have a heartbeat, and immediately call for help.
Yes. Okay. If there is no response after giving 2 breaths and checking for responsiveness, take their carotid pulse. If there's no pulse, begin your cycle of chest compressions, but again, only be doing this if you are trained in CPR. Shows you how to check for a pulse in the book on the page 515. Cardiac emergencies, heart attack symptoms might include uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, fullness, or pain in the center of the chest. Blue lips and nails, gray ashen appearance. Left arm pain, rapid weak pulse, nausea. Some of the things you might do would be to elevate the patient's head, loosen their clothing, take their vital signs. If someone is choking, usually they're choking on a foreign object. If they can't breathe, speak, or cough, don't interfere. If they're unable to speak, breathe, or cough, use your abdominal thrust to clear it. For infants, you would put them face down or place them down on your forearm across your thigh, supporting their head, delivering some blows to the back. Again, all of this would be how you would be trained in your office. So you would want to always approach it how you were trained. And they have some pictures here in the book for you. If we had a cerebrovascular event, how would that be handled? Or what are some of the things, what are the two things that a cerebrovascular accident? You might have a minor one or a major one. You really want to call 911 either way. How would you help a stroke victim? You would notify the physician or EMS. Keep the patient lying down and maintain an open airway facing the mouth by facing the mouth to the side. If the patient is already on the floor and they did not fall, no head or neck injury, place in the recovery position. And they show you a picture right there on page 519. If a person is in shock, what is happening when a person is in shock? What are the types and causes of shock? Jackie?
The collapse, shock is a state of collapse. It's caused by the failure of the circulatory system. You might have pale, gray, chronic appearance, moist but cool skin, dilated pupils, weak rapid pulse marked by hypertension, swallow, rapid respirations, lethargical, restlessness, vomiting, nausea, extreme thirst.
Okay. Some common office emergencies that might happen. Liz, what are some of them? They have a list of them on page 520.
Would be syncope, animal bites, insect bites and stings, asthma, burns, wounds, or head injury.
Okay. How would you treat fainting?
You first want to make sure if they fell, they weren't injured in the fall, they didn't get a head injury or anything like that, or a head or neck injury. And you want to measure and record the patient's pulse, respiratory rate, and blood pressure, and report it to the physician. Keep the patient lying down for at least 10 minutes after they regain consciousness.
Okay.
Ask if they have a history of seizures or heart condition.
Good. All right. How about poisoning? What would you do for poisoning, Diane?
Call the Poison Control Center to find out what should be done. Well, find out what they were poisoned with first and call the Poison Control Center.
Okay. How about animal bites, Jackie?
You want to make sure it depends on how deep it is. If it's not good, maybe clean it off, rinse it off, and put pressure on it to stop it from bleeding. If it is bad, you might want to have stitches, or either go to the ER or go to the physician, and he can take a look at it. And also make sure that the dog's secure, so that they can find out if the dog has rabies or whatever, dog or animal or whatever.
Right. Okay, insect bites and stings. Ange, how would those be taken care of?
If the If the sting is still lodged in the skin, scrape it off with a dull knife or a credit card or a fingernail. Be careful not to squeeze the stinger because this injects more venom into the skin. Apply an ice bath to the site to relieve pain and slow absorption of venom. Calamine lotion or hydrocortisone cream may be applied to relieve itching.
Okay. How about asthma attacks?
If are you asking?
Yes.
If the patient is prescribed a bronchodilator inhaler, yes, it should be used at the first indication of symptoms. And depending on the severity of the attack, give the patient an appointment for the same day as the call, or consult the physician, because the physician may recommend that the patient go directly to the ED for emergency respiratory care.
All right. How about seizures, Liz?
If they have a grand mal seizure, which involves uncontrolled muscular contractions, the most important point is to protect the patient from possible injury. Clear everything away from them until the seizure ends. Do not place anything in the person's mouth. Do not hold the patient down. If after the seizure is over, let the patient rest or sleep, but never leave the person alone. Call 911 for emergency assistance in any of the following situations. The patient does not regain consciousness within 10 to 15 minutes. The seizure does not stop within a few minutes. The patient begins a second seizure immediately after the first one. The patient is pregnant. There are signs of head trauma. The patient is known to have diabetes, or the seizure is triggered by high fever in a child.
Okay. How about abdominal pain, Jackie?
You want to ask them where it is, what type of onset that it is. Is it severe? Is it persistent? You want to ask them if there's a fever. You want to ask if it's like a infection, could be appendicitis. You just want to ask them if they're warm, do they have cold chills? If they are, you want to keep the patient warm and quiet. You want to find out if it's life-threatening. You obviously want to call 911, but if it's not, you just want to make sure that they, administer the mouth-to-mouth if it is, and if it's not, then maybe administer some analgesics as ordered by the doctor, or depending on whatever the patient has.
All right. How about sprains and strains, Liz?
Tendon strains and ligament sprains take several weeks to heal, whereas muscle tears usually heal in 1 to 2 weeks because muscle has a rich blood supply. These injuries are treated by elevating the affected area and applying mild compression and ice. Swelling is reduced if ice is applied within 20 to 30 minutes after the injury. After 24 to 36 hours, alternating applications of mild heat and ice usually are indicated, and the patient may be advised to immobilize the part.
Okay. What about fractures and burns, Diane?
Fracture is a break or crack in the bone which can result from trauma or disease. They're painful. They usually can't move that part very easily. Place the patient in a position that supports the affected area at the joint above and below the suspected fracture and does not place strain on the injury. Notify the physician immediately and process according to the orders given.
Okay. What about tissue injuries, Jackie?
There's several kinds. You want to make sure you find out what kind it is. If it's an abrasion, you want to just keep it clean. Rinse it off, keep it clean. If it's actual puncture, you want to make sure if there's a foreign body object to it, make sure it's secure. Don't pull it out, and make sure it's secure. And try to go to the ER. If you're by yourself and there's nobody with you, maybe you can call the 911 and just have them hold it over their, like a towel over their arm or wherever, so that you can try to stop it from bleeding as much. And find out anything you can. How did it happen? How long ago did it happen? And that way it gives them an idea of how much blood you could be lost within that time.
Okay. And how about nosebleeds, Ange?
Treatment of epistaxis varies according to the amount of bleeding and the presence of other conditions. If bleeding is mild to moderate and from one side of the nose, the patient should sit up, lean slightly forward, and apply direct pressure to the affected nostril by pinching the nose. Continue constant pressure for 10 to 15 minutes and allow clotting to take place. Repeat if the bleeding cannot be controlled. Insert a clean gauze pad into a nostril and notify the patient. If the patient is not available, proceed with the standard EMS protocol.
Okay. How about head injuries, Jackie?
For head injuries, you want to find out how it happened and when it happened. You want to make sure that there's no bleeding. See if they're dizzy, severe headaches, mental consciousness, memory loss. If they are, you do want to try to see if their eyes are dilated. If there is, you want to try not to move them because you could make it worse. Just try to make them as comfortable as they can. Maybe put a pillow, or not a pillow, but something to make the neck a little bit elevated, and try to call 911 as soon as possible, so that way they can get there and stay on the line with the patient.
Very good. How about foreign bodies in the eye, Liz?
You want to tell the patient not to touch the eye in any way, even though they probably want to rub it. And the physician may order ophthalmic topical anesthetic drops to relieve the pain, and the patient should be placed in a darkened room to wait for the physician because photophobia is common with eye irritations. If contusion and swelling are present, a cold wet compress can help. Ask the patient to close both eyes and cover them with eye pads until the physician arrives. And the physician may order an eye irrigation to remove the object. Unless the foreign object is clearly visible, do not attempt to search for it or remove it.
Exactly. Could get pretty messy, right? All right, heat injuries. Diane, how would you handle a heat injury?
I don't think they do. I think they do it by
Heat injuries occur most often on hot, humid days and results in cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke. Heat-related muscle cramps may be the first sign of heat exhaustion, which is a serious heat-related condition. Patients with heat exhaustion appear flushed and report headaches, nausea, vertigo, and weakness. Heat stroke, most dangerous form of heat-related injury, results in the shutdown of body systems. Patients with heat stroke have red, hot, dry skin and altered levels of consciousness and rapid, shallow breathing. This is a true medical emergency. If heat-related problems are recognized in the early stages and are adequately treated, the patient does not usually develop heat stroke. Management of heat-related conditions include getting the person out of the heat, loosening the clothing, and removing perspiration-soaked clothing, and giving the person a cool drink if he or she is alert.
Okay, how about cold injuries, Ange?
There's two types of cold injuries, the frostbite and the hypothermia. The frostbite, which is the actual freezing of tissue, occurs when skin temperature falls to range. It's a prolonged exposure of the skin. Both causes damage similar to the bone. The tissue may appear gray or white, may be swollen, and may have clear blisters. May show signs of necrosis. The most serious is the tissue damage, and more likely the body part will be frozen. By applying constant warmth to the affected areas, by immersing the area in the warm water, no warmer than 105 degrees Fahrenheit, or by wrapping it in a warm, dry clothing. Friction should never be used. Hypothermia is a medical emergency that may result in death unless the patient receives immediate assistance. If there are signs of symptoms of hypothermia, including shivering and numbness, apathy, and the loss of consciousness, activate EMS and care for any life-threatening condition until help arrives. Remove the victim's wet clothing and wrap the victim in blankets while moving him or her to a warm place. If the victim is alert, give warm liquids and apply heating pads to help slowly raise core body temperature.
Okay. For dehydration, what would you do for dehydration, Liz?
Infants, young children, and older adults are at greatest risk of developing serious complications from dehydration. Severe dehydration may be caused by excessive heat loss, vomiting, diarrhea, or lack of fluid intake. Symptoms include vertigo, dark yellow urine, or no urine output for 8 to 10 hours, extreme thirst, lethargy and confusion, and abdominal or muscle cramps. If the patient shows any of these symptoms and is unable to retain fluids, schedule an urgent appointment or recommend that the patient be taken to the ED. Replacement of lost fluids is vital, so the patient should be encouraged to drink water, tea, sports drinks, fruit juice, or Pedialyte.
Okay. How about diabetic emergencies? Jackie?
For them, you would give them a shot of the insulin. That usually makes them better, and that will improve. If not, maybe a small amount of the glucose would affect the condition, and they must be transported to the hospital regardless of whatever type of diabetic shock that they have, or diabetes shock that they have. Because one could be a coma, and then the other one is just the insulin shock itself.
Right. So for patient education, we really want to know how to handle these emergencies and lead by example and through instruction. All of our patients, even children, should know how to contact EMS, and people should have current certifications in CPR and first aid. Keep in mind that your physician is legally responsible for the care you administer to patients while working in the healthcare facility. Know your limitations that are placed on the medical assistants in your state, and adhere to office policies when handling emergencies. Also, make sure you act in the best interest of the patient. Any questions on this chapter, ladies?
No.
Okay.
Nope.
All right. Let's move on to chapter 28, career development and life skills. Thank you, ladies, for doing all the work tonight. I'm having trouble with my asthma, so breathing is a little bit labored. All right, so read the scenario for me, please, Liz.
Lisa Walker is 1 month away from graduating from her medical assisting program. She has been an excellent student and is looking forward to beginning her career in the medical field. Lisa wants to begin her job search now so that she will be employed soon after her externship ends. Lisa participated in several volunteer activities while she attended school. She plans to list these experiences on her resume. She met many office managers and physicians while doing volunteer work, and she will be contacting those people in hopes of obtaining more job leads. Lisa began saving for interview clothing when she first began school. She is on a strict budget, but she found several outfits appropriate for interviews at secondhand clothing shops and discount stores. Her best-looking suit cost only $25. Not a person afraid to interview, Lisa looks forward to sharing her skills and experience with potential employers. She looks on each interview as practice session for the next one, and this helps her relax more and present a true picture of herself to the office manager. She has a great smile and projects a natural friendliness and positive attitude. Lisa has given much thought to what she wants from her first job as a medical assistant. She knows that she may not start at a high salary, but she also realizes that there are many benefits and perks to working in the physician's office. She plans to commit to working for 2 years on her first job, gaining experience before looking for her next job at a higher salary with additional benefits. Lisa is excited about her future as a medical assistant. She is ready to put the training she received to work with patients. She is determined to perform exceptionally well at her externship site and to go above and beyond her assigned duties to impress the staff in that facility, who will become references for her first paid position. Lisa is dedicated to being the best medical assistant possible and becoming indispensable to her employer.
Okay, so what do you think employers are looking for? Or what do you think employers want? And
There are three basic interview. I'm sorry I didn't I'm sorry, Doreen. What's the question again?
I'm on page 532,
Okay.
bottom left-hand column. What do employers want?
They want a person who has a neat appearance and looks as if he or she fits the job. They want an individual who is dependable and can prove that he or she has been a reliable team member in other job positions, and they want a person with skills to do the job.
Okay, so what do you think are some of the skills you need to be a medical assistant? Liz?
You need 3 types of strengths, and they're job skills, self-management skills, and transferable skills. Job skills are the abilities the medical assistant needs to perform the job. These include such skills as performing venipuncture, billing insurance, answering the telephone, scheduling appointments, giving injections. And then there's also self-management skills that relate to the medical assistant's personality and character traits, such as honesty, integrity, and enthusiasm. And transferable skills can be taken from one job to another. For instance, if the medical assistant has the ability to communicate effectively, this can be used on every job. Leadership is a transferable skill, as are the ability to follow directions and the ability to manage people.
Doreen, excuse me, can I just go to the washroom?
Yep, go right ahead. Why don't we go ahead and take a 5-minute break right here?
Liz, are you taking the billing and coding?
No, I'm not. Are you?
No. No.
I'd like to, maybe eventually. Not right now, though. I don't really have the money for another set of classes right now.
Yeah, I agree. I got my money from the Goodwill Industries, and I actually met the people that like gave me the money, and she said that there's more classes that are available. So I don't know about the billing and coding part, but I'm gonna see what else that they have to offer and stuff, and that might be a good way. You too, Liz, for free schooling, because my 2 classes were free. Is for the Goodwill Industries. That's how I got my classes.
Do you work for them? Is that?
No, I didn't work for them. I just filled out an application, and about a week later, I found out that I had the money, and they gave me both classes. Yeah, they paid for everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
They're paying for all of, well, it's not Goodwill, it's the same thing, but that's who's paying for all of my classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went down to the career center and signed up there. And I am taking the billing and coding. They paid for that too.
They paid for it too, Diane?
Yes, they paid for everything. The medical terminology and anatomy, this class, and billing and coding.
Wow, you're so lucky.
It is a good thing. I'm very grateful that I had the opportunity to get the free schooling, but for me, I'm liking more the accounting part, or the accounting and accounts receivable part. That's where I think I'm going to be heading with this and stuff, because I kind of like that. I have a accounts receivable experience, and I like that with the billing and trying to find out stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know about the coding part. For me, that seems a little bit harder for me. Maybe, and everybody's different, but for me, I have a harder time with that part.
Liz, if you're not working, you should check out the career center, and they'll direct you to where to go. If you're not working, is the only requirement to qualify.
Yeah.
I work, though. I work 50 hours a week.
Yeah, but they allow a certain amount, though, Liz. You know, you might be surprised. It's well worth looking into.
Yeah.
Did you set a date yet, Liz?
No, not at all. Neither of us are very good planners. I'd rather wait anyways. I'm okay with just being engaged. 24.
How old are you? Yeah.
24. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't forget you. Just took a little longer for my tea water than expected. Sorry. Okay, so when we are assessing strengths of our new applicant, we want to make sure that they have the job skills that they need to perform the job. And as Liz mentioned earlier, transferable skills, self-management skills. Some of the developing career objectives would be, where am I today? Where do I want to be in 5 years? Where do I want to be in 10 years? Where do I want to be in 15 years? What additional skills do I need to get where I want to go? Know your personal needs. What is the minimum salary and benefits requirement? What are the intrinsic needs important to you personally? When you're finding a job or looking for a job, let's do critical thinking application 28-2. Lisa expects potential employers to ask her what her strengths are. She has determined 6 specific strengths that she can prove with examples from past positions or her externship. What 6 strengths can you prove? And give examples of each of these strengths. So I'm going to ask each of you one. I want you to give me one strength. And how can you prove? Give me an example of that strength. So Jackie, let's start with you.
Leadership. When I was working at Rhinell, I was a new hiree, so I would train the new hirees for the job. I would train them efficiently and effectively, and a lot of the times the people would stay because they understood their job. And for me, understanding your job makes you want to stay because you know what you're doing instead of being lost. So I was really good in being a trainer or trainee.
Okay. How about you, Liz?
I actually would also have to say leadership skills. In the job that I'm in now, I was promoted to shift leader not that long after being there, and I've also been offered the assistant manager position. Our store doesn't currently have an assistant manager, but I effectively do the job without the title right now.
Nice. How about you, Diane?
I'd have to say loyalty to whoever I work for. My last position, I was there for 22 years.
Okay. And what did you do?
I started off in the factory as a employee, a regular worker, and I became a supervisor of a department.
Okay. What one strength as a supervisor do you felt was important to have?
As a supervisor, I felt that it was important for me to be able to do every job in my room and do it efficiently. And I made a point of, when I became a supervisor, they put me in a room I had never been in. I made sure that I learned every job in that room and could do that job efficiently, because I wanted my employees not to think they were working for someone that didn't have a clue as to what they did for a job.
Correct.
So
That's
I made
excellent.
that.
That's excellent. How about you, Ange?
I think like have a positive attitude or something like that, because in my experience, most of my supervisor or my the manager in the area, they evaluate me as a positive attitude, which is, it shows that sample if there's a change in the area or in the facility, I'm so open on it like that. So I'm so positive on it like that. And if there's like criticism or something like that, I don't. I just I'm just very positive. I don't care like something like that. So I think it would be my strength.
Okay, very good. So, 2 best job search methods. What is one method that is important that you would use, Liz?
You'd want to use networking, which is the exchange of information or services among individuals, groups, or institutions. And when related to job search, networking involves meeting and getting to know individuals in the same or similar career fields and sharing information about available opportunities. And one way would be by joining professional medical assisting organizations.
How about direct contact? How about that one, Jackie? Tell me about that.
That would be an effective method of searching that would actually compile a list of places that you want to go to, learn about them, and actually see maybe about volunteering or not volunteer, but go for like an hour, see what kind of office that it is, and go to different places and have an idea of what place you might want to go to.
How about internet and job searching? How would you use the internet, Diane?
There are many ways to use the internet. Yahoo, Monster, and Jobs, and online career centers. You can put in what you're looking for, and it will usually bring up a list of places that are hiring the position that you want to hire, that you're looking to get hired by.
And what are some of the traditional job searching that you would use, Liz?
Some of the more traditional methods would be newspaper ads, or you could use school career placement offices. There's employment agencies, but they usually charge a fee for their services. You can join professional organizations, and that can help out because you can hear about positions that are becoming available. You can volunteer. You could mail your resumes. Cold calling's on here, but it says that almost never works anymore, especially if you just call up and ask, are you hired? And performing well at an externship to give a good view of yourself to the employers.
Okay, so how would you organize that job search, Diane?
I would start by looking on the internet for. Actually, I did that the other day. I was on the St. Mary's and CMMC sites and checked to see what they were hiring, and so I could send my resumes out to keep track of it, dates and times. I really don't know.
Okay, how would you develop your resume, Jackie?
You would put your strengths that you have. You're actually selling yourself. There's 3 common different types of the resumes. There's a chronological, there's a functional, there's a target. You want to make sure that you have your strengths. You want to have at least 6 years of jobs that you've been to. You want to let them know specifically what the ad entails, kind of put your resume to whatever the ad has for like highlight words, and try to make sure that you have the cover letter along with the resume, and then wait about a week and then call them up and see what's going on with the resume and the application.
Okay. And what are some critical resume errors, Ange?
The first error that should be prevented on a resume is just that any error. The resume should have no errors at all.
Right.
And avoid using I, something like that.
And don't include a photograph.
Yes, don't include a photograph.
All right, what is the purpose of a resume, Liz?
The purpose of a resume is not to get the medical assistant job. It is the purpose of the cover letter is to get the employer to look at the resume, and the purpose of the resume is to get the applicant an interview. The purpose of the interview is to get you the actual job. Remember this and use the resume as a tool along with other strategies for job searching. Very
good. And what is your cover letter supposed to do, Jackie?
It's going to it's an introduction to the resume and the person sending the document. The cover letter should be sent to the individual, not the facility. The name of the person to whom the resume should be sent to can obtain a simple phone call and ask for the name of the person just so you can verify that that is the correct person. And you let them know what your strengths are and just make it plain and simple, nothing too fancy.
Right. Very good. The basic cover letter, they give you an example here in the book. They also show you how to record a job lead, how to record an interview. The functional resume and the chronological resume, I actually like the functional resume and the targeted resume on page 542. Those are two of my favorites. You want to make sure that you use a lot of action words that you see on figure 28-10 on page 542. And a basic cover letter is on page 543. They actually do give you some really good examples, and I know that Amy dealt with her lecture on resumes to specifically give you help in those areas.
I send you my resume. Let me know if there's an error or something.
Okay. Job applications on page 543. A lot of facilities will require a job application along with a resume. Why do you think they do that, Liz?
When you fill it out there, they want to make sure that you're filling it out, that your handwriting is neat, and that you aren't lazy and skip over things or just write "see resume." And they want to make sure you can follow the instructions.
Exactly. They're looking for you to be able to pay attention, follow instructions, if you have neat penmanship, all of those things. Also, you want to arrive how early before an interview, Ange?
Arrive 15 minutes for the interview, scheduled interview, to allow time
how early?
15 minutes.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
right. You also want to carry a planner or an address book so that you can give references, but you don't have to. You can also have a separate sheet that you can hand out if they ask for it. You want to be careful on sections that ask reasons for leaving former positions. One of your most common mistakes on job applications is see resume. When you're in the job interview, page 546, you may interview with the office manager, the physician, both, and other staff members. Each interview you go on provides experience and adds to your comfort. 4 phases to an interview: prepare for the interview itself, follow-up, and negotiation. You want to make sure that when you prepare for the interview, you learn everything possible about the employer. Practice answering possible questions. If you see on page 547, they give you the top 100 interview questions. It would be a good idea to go down and read through those and go in the mirror and answer them like you were on the job interview. Prepare an outfit and drive by the site first to avoid getting lost. So I love all of your interview outfits for this evening. Be sure your outfit is well-fitting and suits the atmosphere of the practice. And as Ange mentioned earlier, arrive 15 minutes early and never bring anyone with you. On the interview itself, the interviewer should not ask illegal questions. Those could be things from age, sex, nationality, religion, marital and family status, and so on. Make sure you maintain eye contact. Remain calm, do not fidget. Never speak negatively about former employers. Do not volunteer negative information, but be honest and do not exaggerate. Focus all answers on professional qualities, not personal details. The follow-up after the interview. Always send a written thank you note to person who conducted the interview. Limit follow-up calls to 1 or 2 a week, and continue to prospect and interview until the offer is made and accepted. You can negotiate the lowest salary that you can afford and ask for a little more than that figure. Let your employer mention a figure first or a range of salary. Never say no to a job offer on the spot, and request at least 24 hours to consider the offer. So when you have the job, map out several ways to get to work so you're not late if there is traffic. Most employees start out on a 30 to 90-day probationary period. So volunteer to help others, perform other duties efficiently, learn the office rhythms, procedures, and culture before suggesting changes. Some of the common early mistakes on page 550. Never be disruptive by gossiping or complaining. Be open to perform duties differently than taught in school. Learn from your mistakes. Finish all assigned duties without procrastination. And limit your absences and tardiness to an absolute minimum. To be a good employee, you should arrive at least 15 minutes prior to your shift. Do not leave early. Be honest, trustworthy, professional. Get along with your coworkers. Even during the slow periods, there's always filing or cleaning to do. Treat patients with compassion and carry individual professional liability insurance. That's if it's needed. Dealing with supervisors. Come to them with questions, but handle minor decisions on your own. I want someone who's going to think on their feet. Basically, perform the job and suffer the consequences later kind of thing. If I'm not available, think about, okay, Can I really do this, or do I have to wait? Kind of thing. And basically just admit to all your errors and discuss how to rectify them. You know what? I would rather you try and fail or try and be incorrect than to not try at all. Performance appraisals are designed to inform employee of strengths and weaknesses on the job. Do not expect a perfect appraisal. Expect to address areas that need improvement. Ask questions and work with supervisor to improve the areas. When asking for a raise, most of your facilities will have a schedule for pay increases. It will be reflecting on your performance honestly. Ask before you reflect on your performance honestly before you do ask for a raise. When you leave a job, always offer at least 2 weeks notice. When you resign, prepare a written notice of resignation and take it to your supervisor in person. Life skills. If your life skills are not developed, you may not advance in your career. So you must try to put your personal issues aside while you are at work. You must give a full day's work on each shift. Your personal growth is a comprehensive term that applies to many aspects of your mental, physical, and spiritual health. Self-control is a good one. Patients who might act out because they're not feeling well. You want to exercise self-control and not respond in kind to disagreeable patients. Never remove drugs from the storage areas without permission. Be careful when dealing with petty cash. Page 553, critical thinking application. Lisa has been on several interviews and likes the prospect of working for 3 different physicians. If an offer is made at each office, how can Lisa decide which to accept? And what will help Lisa make this decision? What do you think, Liz?
I think that she could write down a list of what she likes about each facility and the things that she doesn't like. Consider the pays that she's being offered at the different facilities and different perks, and whether she'll get benefits or not. The atmosphere from when she interviewed there, and just use all that stuff to help her make the decision.
What do you think, Jackie?
I agree with her. You want to just have something, if it's close, sometimes if it's close, but you know, you're not making the money, that makes a difference. How small the company is, what type of people, what kind of perks. I agree with Liz pretty much on what she said. Okay.
Self-esteem. Everyone has certain strengths and weaknesses, so knowing your strengths and weaknesses and overcoming them results in self-esteem. Being motivated, able to express love, and capable of handling criticism. Workplace will always change. Adapting to it is important for good self-esteem. Problem-solving skills, having trust and being willing to make suggestions play a part in this problem-solving process. Decision-making skills. So think through a decision. It might require logic, weighing your pros and cons. Be honest and identifying the real problems and keep personal feelings out of it. Define the problem and evaluate what must happen to resolve it. Gather information and consider all of the alternatives. Consider the ramifications of each alternative. Pick the best alternative, make a decision, and put it into action. Stress management. Stressor is a stimulus that prompts a reaction from the body. Eustress is positive stress that leads to higher expectations. Distress includes disappointment, failure, or embarrassment. You want to recognize the signs of stress, like headache and fatigue. Breathe correctly. Slow breathing from the abdomen, in through the nose, out through the mouth, that type of stuff. When you're planning a budget, over on 553, Track spending for 3 months and develop a budget. Build your savings. Avoid going into debt. Pay off entire balances. Your student loans. Never incur more student loan debt than absolutely necessary. Make every effort to pay them off as soon as possible. Guidelines for budgets. They give you a figure 28-16 on page 554. Getting a paycheck. Dangerous habits. Avoid opening letters or bills, writing checks or on funds not in your checking account. So we want to cooperate with the school in securing externship sites and make an effort to obtain the site. So as I said in the very beginning, if you're able to get out there and create a volunteer position for yourself, that's the best thing to try and do, even if it's an hour or two here or there. Perform well so that staff and physicians are happy to offer you a good reference. And always specify that you're a medical assistant, especially when making initial introductions. Always be completely honest when completing a job application and offering information on a resume. Your employers are more interested in honesty and forthright explanation than in minor problems that affect job performance. And most businesses can verify whether a potential employee has any type of criminal record. So be very careful of that type of stuff. Any questions in this chapter, ladies? All right, let's get into our study guide. Turn to page 195, vocabulary review. What are the 4 P's of marketing, Jackie?
The 4 P's.
Oh, sorry.
I'm like thinking, what?
What? All right. What is number 1?
Outreach.
Nope, marketing. Vocabulary review, number 1 is marketing. Number 2, Ange?
Target market.
Yes. 3, Liz?
Objectives.
Yes. 4, Diane?
I had an objective.
It's actually develop a tangible. 4 is tangible. 5 is prosthetic. And 6 is branding. The short answers. Number 1, evaluate what is being done to increase the patient flow. Decide what objectives are important and how meeting these will be measured. Develop a plan with various means of marketing the practice and specific methodology for implementing each phase. What is meant by reaching the target market, Liz?
It means that the specific groups that the clinic wants to reach have been made aware of the clinic and what it offers.
Yes. Number 3, 5 specific planning steps, Diane?
Assessment, research, planning, execution, and evaluation.
Number 4, the several phases that should never be used with patients are what, Ange?
I don't know. I don't care. I can't be bothered. Ask someone else.
Good. Jackie, explain the concept that good customer service is a commitment.
If the customer is satisfied, they'll come back and tell their friends. If the customer is happy, if they're not, they're gonna not like recommend that person, the doctor's office, and help them whenever you can with whatever they ask.
What are the 4 P's of marketing, Diane?
Product, placement, price, and promotion.
Liz, can you answer number 7 for me?
I said that they can determine what services to offer by what their specialty is and by the demographics of the area where the practice is located, like whether it's a lot of younger families or the elderly.
Okay, how about input from patients and staff members? Number 8,
Yeah.
5 examples of community involvement. Ange?
Becoming a member of various organizations such as the Chamber of Commerce, getting involved in local community like the big football or baseball marathon, charity events, and like blood donation or United Way activities. Is that
Okay, how about number 9, Diane?
Advertising involves creating or changing attitudes, beliefs, or perceptions with the purchased broadcast time. Oh, I didn't answer the other part.
Okay, well, what do you think it is?
I don't know.
What do you think, Jackie? What is public relations?
Public relation is relying on reports, magazines, newspapers, radios. Anything that the public can see you in or about.
All right, Ange, how about number 10? List the 4 basic steps of creating a website.
define the objectives of the website, design the pages, locate a web server to which the pages can be uploaded, and upload the pages to the server.
All right, Liz, what is the goal of any business?
To make customers happy and to continue to make money to keep the business afloat and to pay the employees.
And how about number 12, Jackie?
It'll increase more patients, and if the patient's happy, they'll refer other people to the practice.
And what are 2 examples of branding, Liz?
Branding is creating a unique name and image in the customer's mind through advertising, and examples of it would be logos or taglines.
Very good. All right, part 3, customers in the physician's office. Who are some of the customers who visit the medical office, Diane?
Patients, sales reps, patients' family, friends.
Yep, that's good. All right, any questions on these exercises?
Nope.
All right, number 27, vocabulary. Number 1, Ange.
Cyanosis, a blue coloration of the mucous membranes and body extremities caused by the lack of oxygen.
Okay, what about number 2, Jackie?
Diaphoresis, and that's profuse excretion of sweat.
All right, and then number 3, Liz.
Dyspnea is difficulty breathing.
Number 4, Diane.
Echymosis is bruising.
Yeah, a hemorrhagic skin discoloration. Number 5, Ange.
Emetic, a substance that causes vomiting.
Number 6, Jackie.
Liberation, it's rapid, random, ineffective contractions of the heart.
7, Liz.
Hematuria, which is blood in the urine.
And number 8, Diane.
Mediastinum, the space in the center of the chest under the sternum.
Okay, and it's mediastinum.
Mediastinum.
Number 9, Jackie.
That was myocardium, and that's a muscular lining of the heart.
Number 10, Ange.
The death of cells or tissues, necrosis.
Okay. Number 11, photophobia, visual sensitivity to light. Number 12, polydipsia, excessive thirst. Number 13, polyuria, excessive urination. 14, transient ischemic attack, temporary neurologic symptoms caused by a gradual or partial occlusion of a cerebral blood vessel. What is number 15, Liz?
First aid.
Okay. And 16, Jackie.
Automated external defibrillator.
And 17, Diane.
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
Yes, 18, Ange.
Cerebrovascular accident.
Yes, cerebrovascular accident. 19, Liz.
Transient ischemic attack.
Yes. 20 is myocardial infarction. 21, Jackie.
Heat stroke.
Okay. 22 is muscle cramps. 23, Ange.
TIA.
23 is heat exhaustion. 24, Diane.
Answer.
Thrombolytics is 24. 25, Liz.
I actually couldn't find that one.
It is asystole.
What's the name?
Asystole. ASYSTOLE, number 25. 26 is echymosis. And 27, idiopathic. And 28, bradycardia. Who can give me the minimum of 4 methods of maintaining a safe environment for both staff and patients? Ange?
Open lines of communication must be established among all employees about the issues, and employees must work together to solve this problem.
Okay, 5 methods for preventing fires in the ambulatory care. Can you give me those, Diane?
Properly store potential flammable chemicals and supplies. Properly maintain electrical equipment cords and outlets. Make sure your outlets are not over with too many things plugged into one outlet. And that was what I could come up with.
Okay, that's good. All right, explain the procedure for effectively discharging a fire extinguisher, Liz.
You want to pull the pin, aim the extinguisher toward the bottom of the flames, squeeze the handle, and sweep the extinguisher from side to side.
Yes. List the criteria should be included in a healthcare facility's evacuation plan. Jackie?
Designated coordinator, shut down any combustibles down, have a floor plan for exit routes, make sure that all exits are marked, light and wide enough for the area for a wheelchair, assist all patients out, and make sure that the fire exit doors are closed, and check to see if anyone is left in the building, and just verify that everybody is there.
Yes. Yes. Number 5. Ange, can you answer number 5 for me?
Actually, I didn't answer. I'm sorry.
Okay. How about you, Diane?
I have the Maine Emergency Management Agency. They provide guidance and assistance to county and local government. American Red Cross helps disaster victims safe shelter, hot meals, essential relief supplies, emotional support, and health services. And Homeland Security is responsible for terrorism-related incidents as well as natural disasters. And that's
good. What are some of the standard precautions, Liz?
Sanitize hands routinely, wear disposable gloves, use masks or eye protection, wear gowns, sanitize, disinfect, and sterilize equipment and environmental surfaces, and dispose of contaminated waste in biohazard containers.
Yep. Can you summarize the CDC recommendations, Jackie?
Provide fact sheets for employees and patients to understand the dangers and or emergencies. Encourage the employees to do disaster drills and plan on the emergency. Treat acute anxiety with assistance and follow up with counseling and help with whatever way you can.
Okay, how about the OSHA recommendations? What are those, Diane?
use proper body mechanics in all situations. Constantly check floor and hallways for tripping hazards. Store supplies in cabinets, not on top of things. Clean up spills immediately. Use step stools to reach for things. Have handrails available as needed and use them.
Good. Explain the methods for proper disposal of hazardous material in the physician's office. Liz?
You want to have signs placed on the biohazard containers. Make sure that all containers are covered and have a foot pedal, and place a regular garbage next to it to prevent people from just throwing extra trash in it.
Yep. Okay, and what are the 5 classic symptoms of a heart attack, Jackie?
Uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, fullness, pain in the chest, spreads to the shoulders, necks and jaws or arms. The lips and the fingers turn blue or gray. Appearance, they'll clutch the chest with pain, and then the pain will be in the left arm and nausea.
Okay, what is the difference between classic myocardial infarction signs and symptoms that may be experienced by female patients? Just list 3 for me, Liz.
They may have back pain, clammy perspiration, or vertigo.
Yep. What are 7 types of shock, Diane?
Lactic shock, insulin shock, psychogenic or mental shock,
Yep.
hypovolemic or
Yeah.
hemorrhagic,
Yep.
cardiogenic, neurogenic, and septic.
Perfect. What are sprains and strains treated with, Ange?
Actually, I did not. Sorry, pass. I can answer this.
Okay, sprains and strains are treated with what, Jackie?
Elevate the affected area, apply a mild compression, alternate ice and heat, and immobilize the part that's sprained.
Okay. What are some, give me 5 examples in which patients with abdominal pain should be seen by a healthcare provider immediately. Liz?
I actually only could figure out acute onset of severe pain accompanied by fever. I didn't know what the other were.
Okay, so symptoms related to shock,
Okay.
severe constant pain or waves of pain, bloody or tarry stools,
Bloody stool.
pregnancy or a missed period, continuous vomiting or severe constipation, and chest pain, shortness of breath, or continuous cough. Okay, I'm not going to go into screening the emergency telephone calls because you have the different answers. We went over all of them. The syncope, the head injury, insect bites or stings, burns, wounds, animal bites, asthma, poisoning. You know, how was the patient injured? Do they have a history of what have you done to make it better? What caused it? Are there signs of, you know, there's a whole list that goes on. Let's see. Okay, let's go right into 28. The rest of them are case studies and stuff like that. If you did them and you want the answers, just email me. But I'm sure you all did very well. Okay. 28 to 11 in your study guide. Vocabulary. Number 1 is synopsis. Number 2, intolerable. 3, deferment. 4, vocations. 5, proofread. 6, networking. 7, pertinent.
Sorry?
7, pertinent. 8, rectify. 9, succinct. 10 is default. We talked in length in the lecture about job searching, how to job search. What it does, it reduces the amount of time spent on searching for a job, increases the chance of you receiving better wages through negotiations, helps to eliminate the fears of looking for work. We talked about the 3 basic desires when looking for a new employee. We talked about job skills, you know, performing venipuncture, billing insurance, answering the telephone. Self-management skills relate to the medical assistant's personality. defining transferable skills, what is meant when it is said that a medical assistant knows his or her personal needs, list and define 2 best job search methods, explain at least 3 ways that the internet can be helpful in a job search. These are all in depth in your chapter. Unless you really want to go over them, let me know. I think we have a good handle on all of them. How do you ladies feel about it?
I'm all set.
Yeah, I feel good about it.
Yeah.
Diane?
I'm all set.
Okay. All right. So that finishes the Kins book,
Yay!
which means I want you to take care of the Evolve exams. They should all be on there. Again, if you have an issue with Evolve, please email me. Okay? We'll get it straightened out. For next week, we're finishing up the electronic health records book, and that is chapter 7 and 8 in your sim chart book. We will be reviewing those. So I want you, if you haven't, to start on your sim chart assignments. I went in today and I was able to see the assignments that were completed and reset some that needed to be reset. Again, if you're having issues, please email me. I don't know if any of you know about the chat feature with Evolve, but if you go under Contact Us, there is a way to actually set up a chat session instead of having to call them. So you can actually be, doing something while you're trying to chat with them, okay? I usually will sit here while I'm trying to do something and have Evolve open and everything that I'm trying to do with Evolve and be able to multitask, okay?
Doreen,
Yes.
I couldn't do chapter 29 because I made a mistake in chapter 28, so it won't let me do what I need to do in chapter 20 in my last chapter.
And that's in the sim chart?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean, okay, in the EHR.
Well, I'm in the other book, right?
Right. I want you to just keep going, if it will let
Now,
me.
right. I was able to read. I read the whole chapter. I just couldn't really do the work in the computer because I made that one error in the last chapter, and so it won't let me do it. I do.
What it was?
I do. Yes,
Okay.
I entered something in twice.
Okay. Then just send me an email about that because I'm not going to remember it.
Okay.
And is there a way for me to go in for the grade? Just send me an email about it and I'll go look at it, see if I can do something with it or not.
Okay.
I think it's the actual exams I'm worried about. If you
Right.
understand
I
what
understand
you did and how you got it wrong, then that's the key.
Yeah, I understand, and actually it was able to fix it, but it didn't. I'm gonna play with it again tomorrow and see.
Okay. All right, good.
Doreen, do you
All
know?
right.
Okay, that's okay.
Go ahead, Ange.
It's just I'm worried about like I messaged you right about the bank deposit shit. Like
Say
I
that
don't know.
again.
About the bank deposit sheet. Like I really don't know where to look at in the SIM chart.
The bank deposit form?
Yes.
I haven't found it yet. When I was online today, that was honestly the last thing on my mind. As I said, I spent over an hour on chat with Evolve, trying to take care of several students at once.
Okay.
And so by the time I got to the bank deposit form, I couldn't find it right away. So don't worry about it.
Okay.
I will find it. And I'll let you know when I do.
Thank you.
Okay?
I have a question, Doreen.
Yes, Jackie.
The test that we were taking in the actual KINS book,
Yep.
in the Evolve, it has a section that says grades. Some of the grades that I have aren't matching to the actual grades. Does that matter? Is that how we're getting tested on, or is that how we're getting our grade by what the Evolve says, or are you giving us our grades?
I am sending you back your grade. Remember, they just did that upgrade. So if you were just in there today and you see that your grades were different, I want you to go by what's on your assignment sheet.
Okay, that's what I was wondering, because some of them weren't correct, so that's why I was wondering, do you give us our grades, or is it the book or the
Yeah, when you tell me to go look at a grade, I go look at it and I usually send you back the corrected grade.
Correct.
I have to manually change that in Evolve. When I send you back your grade, I have to manually change it. So if it didn't stay that way, I want you to take what I sent back to you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, Liz, anything?
Nope.
All right, Diane? All right. I'll get those study guides mailed out, but you have plenty of time because I'm going to plan the national exam at least 4 to 5 weeks out, which puts us to the end of March. That gives you plenty of time to study and finish up anything you have to do with the Evolve, okay?
Okay.
All right. Thank you for your time tonight, ladies. Have a wonderful week. Stay safe.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.